Hello again, my friends. Last week I made a short video talking about partial obedience is disobedience. And I said that in the coming weeks when I'd make a video, I'd talk a little bit more about that. So how are you doing? How are you coming on your obedience? Well, I've not made it all 100% this week. I've had some things where I still am failing and I'm not being fully obedient. So I wanted to mention one thing today to get you to start thinking about what is it that's keeping me from being obedient? What keeps me from being fully obedient? Now, I know we don't live under the law. We live under grace. Since Jesus came and took our sin and died on the cross and raised from the dead, we come to him, then he's forgiven us and we're safe in his hands. But you know what? The Old Testament and the Ten Commandments still have some very important, in place guidelines for life. And in the Old Testament, when you read, you go back to the Ten Commandments, you talk about, let me just look at the Ten Commandments for a moment. The beginning of them. I'm not going to read all the Ten Commandments. Exodus chapter 20. God spoke these words. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the place of slavery. Do not have other gods before me. Do not make an idol for yourself, whether in the shape of anything in the heavens or above or on the earth below. I'll stop right there. That's the beginning of the Ten Commandments. And the first thing that God says, don't have any other gods besides me. Don't make an idol, whatever kind of shape it's in. Well, you know what that's saying to me? And I think it should say to you. We can easily put other things before God. We're not supposed to have other things before God if we're his followers. We want to be obedient. And when it talks about making an idol, well, you can literally make an idol, something to stand in front of you and you bow down before. But we make idols that are not literal, not physical. We just idolize some things in here. They're things that become so important to us. You see, there are things in our lives that keep us from being obedient because we're putting them before God. And he said not to put anything before him. They become like little idols. So one thing that I want to help you to think about, and for you to think about this week, to go back and examine your life and say, do I have things in my life that are more important than God? If so, they're keeping you from being fully obedient. Do I have things that are like little idols? If so, they're keeping you from being fully obedient. We say, what kind of things? Well, we recently had a great men's retreat. And in our men's retreat, we listed one evening idols in our lives. Well, we're not going to talk about all of those, but I want to mention some of those to you because they might be what's keeping you from being fully obedient to God. Talk about being successful. You're looking at your job, your family. What is successful in the eyes of the world? That's what you start putting as first place. You put God on the side. You don't let him be primary in your life. Say, I've got to do this because I want to be successful in the eyes of the world. Sometimes it can be your family. Oh, God. I know you want me to do this, but no, my family's more important than doing what you've asked me to do. Well, we talked about being a missionary last time. Well, what if God told you to go to Africa, to the darkest, deepest country, isolated, far from your families? I can't go because of my family. I can't leave my family. I'll go here, but I won't go there because of my family. Well, there are a lot of parents in this world today who won't leave their children. There's some children that won't leave their parents, but there's just as many parents that won't leave their children. We'll let our families become something that keeps us from being fully obedient to God. Maybe it's a hobby. Maybe it's something, I went out, I love to fish, and I bought me a fishing boat. Well, I spent the money on that, so God, I know it's Sunday and I should be in worship, but I'm going to go fishing instead because I spent all the money on that boat. I want you and I want me to go back in the coming days and say, Bobby or Mary or Yvonne or Anna or whoever, whatever your name is, ask yourself, are there idols in my life? Are there things to me that are more important than you, God? Is all of my time, all of my effort placed on those things instead of saying, God, I want to be faithful to you. Show me what step to take. Well, I know a lot of you are in situations that are very difficult, and it seems like you feel, I must spend all of my time on this career. But I want to tell you this. If you put God first, seek Him first, all the other things will be added unto you. That's in the book of Matthew. Seek God first. Don't put idols before Him. Don't let your hobbies, don't let your work, don't let your family, don't let your money become more important to you than God. Let's be fully obedient. And next week, I'll try to make another short word, give you something else to think about when it comes to being obedient. Have a great week. Let's be obedient.